Welcome.
Oh, we're live. Hello. Good afternoon on this glorious
I know, look at me, straight
summer's
from the
day.
gym,
Yeah, I'm
straight
obviously
from the
looking.
gym.
I'm looking fresh off the golf course actually, which was unbearable. But I survived. That's the main thing.
That's our moan about the weather gone.
I'm not moaning.
That's
No, I just played some great golf as well.
So my question for you today is: Are you doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing? And the reason why I'm asking that question is because it is hot out there. People have slowed down. People are just sitting still. And we need to be doing the opposite, because this is the ideal opportunity. You've got to see opportunity where everybody else sees a problem.
And that was my mindset this morning when everybody else decided to stay at home and work remotely. I thought I'd go out in the sun and walk 5 miles.
I know, there was like five people in the gym this morning.
No one at the golf course. It's absolutely glorious. I could be as wild as I like. Anyway, so what's going on?
Wow, what's going on? So, interesting times. Obviously, change within governments again. Neil's going to be doing his news. I'm sure there'll be a little bit about that. Do you know what? I don't actually follow the news, so everything that happens is a little bit of a surprise.
That was 3 days before you knew Starmer had gone.
Yeah.
Resigned, he hasn't gone.
And it's because I don't want my brain being fed with all the rubbish. And the gloom and the doom, just full focus, carry on, do what you can do. I've got goals to meet, and that's where I'm heading, so I don't let all that noise in my head. So Neil actually keeps me updated on Neil's news.
Yeah, well, one of us needs to be Neil.
But very interesting conversations with people this week. I've been working hard with 2 clients this week, getting their proposals, which is what I'm going to be talking about
today.
What
sort of proposals are you talking about?
Proposals for nabbing investors. But this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, the things that you need to be continuing doing, not knee-jerk. So not knee-jerk, and about doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing. That is going to be really the theme of today's live.
So forward planning, having all your ducks in a row so you're ready to go as soon as you get an offer accepted.
Absolutely. And also a bit of mindset as well. So I just completely cut you out there. Also about,
Good afternoon, Richard.
Yes, hello Richard. Nice for you to join us. If you've got any questions, then let us know. Anybody else who comes in watches this on replay,
just give
it'd
us
be nice.
A like or a love or something.
And do #replay. It's really nice to know who actually watches these. Sort of later on in the day, because I know it's not always perfect timing when we're doing these live. But yeah, I want to talk about that knee-jerk reaction then becomes the urgency of getting a proposal together, and then it becomes a big rush. And we're always talking about preparation and planning in property, whatever you're doing. So yeah, that's going to be the messaging today.
Excellent. And we did a session last night for a bunch of mentees, and that was all about the art of negotiation. And one of the tools you use for negotiation is making sure that you make if you're going through an agent stage, making sure you let them know that you have got your power team ready to go, your brokers there, your conveyancers, solicitors there, and just give them the details and say, look, once you get my offer accepted, there's all the details you need to produce that memorandum of sale. So it's all about being ahead of the game and putting you in the best place possible for that offer to be successful. Yeah,
and that's what gets you results. So it's not about suddenly scrabbling around, and then you come across as a professional as well. So we're going to be with you until 12:30. It is really quite warm. That extra body heat is definitely radiating onto me. So I think we'll hop on into Neil's news, because there's quite a lot of it, isn't there?
Neil's news. Well, you mentioned the potential of a leader of the Labour Party, but obviously Starmer announced prior to his resignation that he wanted to shake up the house buying system to try and sort of quash or avoid all these property deals that are falling through. So the stats are currently that I've got through Rightmove is 39.8% of property sales are falling through and coming back on the market. That's more than a third are actually becoming available again. And then that's go off on a bit of a tangent here, but that's creating opportunity for us, because we can, as soon as we know it's back on the market, if they haven't accepted our offer, quick phone call saying, I see it's on the market, my offer still stands, and just put it back out there. But off the back of that, Phil Spence, or Spencer, is it, of
Spencer.
location, Phil Spencer, he did a little live the other day about all these deals that are falling through, or the properties that are going sold subject to contract more than once. So some of them 4 or 5 times before they actually go all the way through and complete. And he reckons that the figure is actually 58% of all property deals are falling through currently. That's over the last quarter. So that's an enormous figure, which creates enormous opportunity. So you really need to make sure that you're on it and you're aware when a property comes available. And good afternoon, Gary. Thanks for joining us. So yes, the shake-up of the house buying market. What they're proposing is there's a legally binding conditional contract will be put in place very, very early in the process. So a bit like what they do in Scotland currently. So they're going to bring that to England so that it's legally binding. So more or less a handshake will secure that deal and that contract. And there's going to be some serious financial penalties if you pull out. And obviously, I think there's going to be a bit of leeway depending on the reason that the deal doesn't go through or the sale doesn't go through. So it's it's obviously to try and quash the number of deals that are either falling through, being gazumped, or whatever the reason is, and making sure that everything goes a bit smoother. And they're also talking about going digital. So digital house purchase. So what they're talking about is having a very similar to your car that's got its very own digital logbook these days. They're talking about each property having to have one of those, and you've got everything in there. So you've got to do your searches, which I think the cost of that will fall to the vendor before long.
So they should.
And then you create this file or package which has got everything you need to go straight into conveyancing. And you can buy with confidence and sell with confidence, so it's about making sure that we create the win-win opportunities and everything goes through smoothly. And if that speeds up the process, I mean, from our point of view, we had a sale that we sold to a tenant last year, and that took 6 months to complete. Nobody else involved.
Was it that quick? I thought it was 10 months.
Let's do the math. So I think we accepted the offer in February, didn't we? We didn't complete till December, so it was actually longer than 6 months. It was painful, and they didn't need a move-in date. It was just, the problem was their choice of solicitor. They went cheap online solicitor, and the process was absolutely painful. And just to back that up, that solicitors aren't all bad. We sold another one, and the lady who bought it actually worked for a firm of solicitors. So we had 2 great solicitors, and it went through in 4 weeks, literally on the day, 4 weeks, 28 days. So it's 20 working days it went through. And so it is possible. You've just got to make sure that you're all working towards the same goal, and you're all being proactive and responding to any requests as quick as possible. So that's the shake-up on the housing market and how the sales are going to proceed. Savills a few weeks back predicted that house sales would only increase by 0.6%, not house sales, house prices, sorry, would only increase by 0.6% in the last half of this year. They've now revised that, and they reckon there's going to be a downturn of 2%. So property prices, they predict, will fall by 2%. So that's more than 2.5% swing in their predictions, which is massive. You think of the money, massive money in the housing market, that is. And they also think that it will continue to go downward, have a downward trend throughout 2027. So that, again, it really is creating the opportunity for the professional investor. And Zoopla, so it's all about surveys today. Zoopla have also carried out a survey, and they've established that just over 50% of all properties that have been on the market in the last 3 years remain unsold. Now, this is mainly driven by unrealistic asking prices by vendors. It's not always the estate agents. So vendors often dictate the price. Everybody thinks their house is worth more than anyone else's, and they're not actually coming to the party and reducing the price or even entertaining any offers. So 50% of all properties listed for sale in the last 3 years still remain unsold. That is a phenomenal statistic. So, like I say, we help other agents. We help agents try and sort of condition the vendors into reality, really. So we go and view properties we're not interested on behalf of the agents we work closely with, and we put in our usual offer, which is usually sort of anywhere between 20 and 40% below market value, just really to try and shake up the vendors on behalf of the agents to come into the real world and realise that their property is not worth what they think it is, and to try and get some movement so it become a realistic price. And then obviously the agents need to sell properties to earn a living, so we try and help out there. What have we got? June, yes, June. We're not quite through it. We're 26th, very nearly through the whole of June, but house prices have dropped 0.6% to date in June alone. So that is the biggest fall in June house prices for 14 years. So again, let's go and look out for those bargains. Let's go and look for properties that are falling below, especially those that have been on and off the market, and you know, they're having to reduce them to get the interest again. And where are we? Oh, obviously the mortgage world, the world of lending has been a bit cautious of late because of what's going on in the Middle East. With the potential ceasefire, there's many more mortgage products coming on the market, and it's looking like they might sort of kickstart by throwing a few products in there that will be very appealing to certainly the limited company, people buying through limited companies. So watch this space. Bank of England's held their interest base rate at 3.75%, and I think the best we can wish for is they keep it there for a bit longer. I think my gut feeling is it will go up throughout the last half of the year, but there's better people out there that will be analysing that and making those decisions. So that is Neil's news in a nutshell.
Amazing. So your crystal ball prediction for this last half of the year?
Second half.
Oh yeah, there's only two. The second half of the year. What's your prediction on what's going to happen to the housing market? And so interest rates, we've already said. So interest rates
remain the same, although there's a couple of things. The lenders, so the mortgage companies, will have to do some attractive products to try and kickstart and move the housing market again. And there's also some rumblings about a shake-up with the stamp duty again. So whether they create a stamp duty holiday, a window of opportunity to buy houses to kickstart the property market again, who knows? Whatever happens there, I don't think it will include us as property investors. I think we'll still have to pay the stamp duty land tax. But if, you know, I personally, I'm not looking to buy a home for myself, so I'd rather they didn't shake up and do a stamp duty holiday, because that means they'll be relying on the professional investors to keep the property market going. So my prediction is interest rates will creep up a little bit by the end of the year, possibly up to 4.25, and I think the property market will slow down further, which means we do the opposite of everybody else and we'll go out looking to buy these properties.
Amazing. And what about anything on Mr. Trump and the Strait of Hormuz?
Mr. Trump's been very quiet. There's movement in the Strait of Hormuz, so there's so I ought to look at oil prices. We're on oil here out in the middle of this little island, and we've been limping along really because I refused to pay £1,000 for 500 litres of oil, and so I need to revisit that and see if the prices come down now. There's a pending potential ceasefire and the Strait of Hormuz opening up. So yeah, we don't know. I mean, it's so unpredictable. We just don't know, do we?
No, we don't. All we can work on is the information we've got
right now. It's all about now. Yeah, get out there now.
Yeah. So let's have a chat about conversations that we've had this week with people within our Nab An Investor group. We had our sprint week last week. Oh my God, what success we had in the group.
People are raising money left, right and centre.
Oh my God, £205,000 from one one member, she'd in the month between the sprints, the weeks, she'd raised £205,000. We'd got increased followers on social media. We'd got confidence building.
We've got people securing deals now, and now they want the money quicker. So there's been a lot of pressure on us to try and help them secure the money and build proposals, etc. Absolutely.
So we've been helping 2 of our members build proposals this week. And it's a rush, and what has really highlighted for me is it's the knee-jerk reaction of suddenly you need to raise money, which is fine, because sometimes, you know, if you actually get an offer, one of our members got an offer accepted incredibly. She's brand new, she's worked really hard to get offers accepted, which she was so successful in doing that in just like 60 days, I think. She came on, got an offer accepted in 60 days. But all her full focus was on getting an offer accepted, and then all of a sudden raising the money. And this was an auction. She obviously pressure. Under time pressure, so that then the pressure then gets knocked on. So she asked for our help. So we were helping her get a proposal built. But what it highlights to me is the quality of information that is passed along, or the quality of information actually from the person who's put the offer on, is that they don't understand the deal enough. My message to you guys when you're raising money is think detail, because you want to, a private funder need to put as much effort and give as much detail as if you were approaching a bank, because you can't have loose figures. You need to understand, you need to understand this deal, because really you want to have one conversation and one person come and actually offer you the money, and it covers everything in that deal. You want to not suddenly think you're going to run out of money. You want to understand the project from start to finish, timelines, all the costs, what certain bits of the project are going to cost, so you know exactly where you are, because it just makes life so much easier. And it's always starting with the end in mind, and having that one conversation with one pot of money, and then the project is done and dusted, and you understand all of it. And this is what it's really highlighting, is the knowledge gaps in the loose numbers, or not really understanding the offer that they've put in, or not really understanding what's required in a refurb. Detail.
You don't want to miss opportunities. So you've got someone who's warm about getting involved, so they're sort of a hot lead. What we do within the proposals we build for people is we address their objections within that proposal before they have chance of answer. So we've answered their nervousness, their fears about getting into the deal, or their question they ask themselves, will I regret this? And that's the one you've got to quash. And this is what the proposal does, isn't it? Very much, and as Jackie said, you need to know your deal, because you need to come back with any responses, not necessarily quickly, so you don't have to be sharp off the tongue, but you need to make sure that you know the answers, so you're armed with all the knowledge you need about your deal to quash any doubts about them getting involved. Because if you've got someone that's warm, a hot lead, whatever, you don't want to miss that opportunity just because you haven't got your head around the numbers or the deal exactly. So it's really crucial that Jackie does most of the proposal build, but it's so she has a one-to-one and draws as much information out, and I think you ask questions that they're not expecting.
It makes them think.
So it makes them think, and by the end of it, and the process and the proposal being built, they know that deal inside out. Absolutely. And they can go and approach people with confidence.
Yeah, and it also, this is what building a proposal does. Most people don't bother doing it because, one, it's really hard. It is hard. You've got to do a lot of research, but then because you're doing a lot of research, that means that you understand why the area is a really good area to invest in. It makes you think about all the qualities that you bring as well, because most of the time, unless you're like super confident person and you've already had sort of like that deep thought process about yourself, the thought is that no one's going to invest in me. I've only just got into property. If you obviously have only just got into property, I've not had a deal yet, so I offer nothing. There's nothing for me to put on the table, and then, you know, I'm expected to go out there and raise all this money for my first property deal. But you forget about all the qualities. You know, you've got life experience, you've got previous careers,
transferable skills are massive.
Absolutely. You know, even if you've been, you're a stay-at-home parent, you know, you've got organisational skills. My goodness,
time management.
You're probably, the way that you deal with different personalities of your children. You've got all this people skills as well. You bring so much to the table, and that is what's forgotten. So that's a lot of the proposal build is actually drawing, all those qualities and previous experiences. So that is what enables you to see this project through. And then obviously the numbers, knowing the area, and knowing the whole process from grabbing the money all the way through all the checks you need to do and everything as well, to the point of that money return. So this is what we help with. So it's not about just putting pen to paper. It is about actually, on the start, people don't realise how much they know. There are gaps in the deal that they don't understand, but by the time we've gone through the process, they understand so much about their deal, and that just brings so much confidence. If you've got confidence in your deal, that means you can go out there and have a very, very confident conversation, and that's what's going to bring you a yes and bring you that money. So yeah, it's been really interesting actually, because this is something we've only just started to offer. But yeah, it's been interesting.
The proposal build's worth its weight in gold because,
it really is.
If I was to try and build myself a proposal build, it would take me weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think that's the fear. That's the bit that most people avoid, is actually building that document, that proposal build that is your business plan for that investor to get involved. And
this is why start early. This is why we want to be raising money in tandem with looking at
deals and money. It's all you've got to do.
Yeah, the two together. You already know what type of properties you're looking for. You already know what price bracket you're looking at. If you've actually viewed 10 properties that are a certain criteria, you know exactly what all your costs are going to be, because you've just seen 10 exactly the same properties in exactly the same area, all need exactly the same work, so you know your numbers. So there's nothing stopping you from going out and starting to have those conversations, but it's got to be in your sights. As well as making relationships with estate agents to find the houses, you need to start making relationships to find the money, and that's the thing that doesn't get done until the offer gets accepted. Yay!
There's an urgency,
no money, and it's like, I need this proposal because I'm going, and and then it's that they get stuck, and then the fear and everything else. So what we do, what I've been doing this week, is actually turning that fear into excitement, because by the time we've got all the proposals made, then it's like super exciting.
That gives you the confidence that you can do it. That we've raised a lot of money. We're no different from anyone else. It's just preparation and confidence in the deal. It's like anything. If you're speaking in front of someone about a subject you know nothing about, it's very, very difficult, daunting, embarrassing sometimes.
Yeah.
But
floundering.
You can get on stage if you know your subject, you know your product inside out. You can get on that stage and talk with confidence and clarity and conviction. So you really can draw people in to create that intrigue, to want to know more and get involved in your deals.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, because we're talking to people all the time, and we had our in-person networking event this week.
That was hot as well
in Colchester. There was only it was a small
dozen people,
very neat,
very
neat group.
Oh,
Very but it made us go, right, these people are serious, because they come out in the heat, the football's on, there's so many reasons why not to come, but they decide to come, which was fab. We had Andy, who's actually a business partner of ours and has been a member of our networking for quite a few years now.
I reckon now,
but it just shows that those people who are serious about...
Good afternoon, Dilip. Haven't seen you lately. Hello.
Those people that are serious about, getting further ahead in property, and those that do it when it suits them. It's hot. We still went out and did it. But I was having a conversation with one of the chaps there about him and his wife deal sourcing. He's in a room full of people at a property event.
This is funny.
And I asked him, have you got yourself a client base? And he said, no, we're working with one chap at the moment. I was like, great, that's really great. But have you actually spoken to anybody here about...
There's 10 people in the room, all property investors.
Sourcing deals to them. We're all, in the area. And he said, no. So it's not taking advantage of the people that are in the room. So it's go networking, follow up on those conversations, be proactive. Don't start looking for money when you need the money. Start having the conversations early, guys. But
that is a similar thing to what we did early on. We didn't tell anyone what we were doing for 18 months because we didn't want people to judge us again.
That's outside of the property sector, wasn't it? This is in the middle.
Yeah, so, but it's about recognising the opportunities, isn't it? And that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't recognise that. And in fact... one of the chaps in the room, he said, you know what, I've been coming to this networking, I do networking non-stop. Nobody's ever asked me for money.
Apart from you.
I don't think I asked.
You offered.
Yeah, so I created the intrigue and we were offered the money.
That's the difference.
That's the difference,
but this is the thing,
he said, why,
conversations.
why? I openly talk about the money I've made and all that, but no one's ever come to me and said, do you want to get involved in my deal? And it's remarkable that people don't see the opportunities in the room.
Absolutely.
And this chap, this deal sourcing, deal packaging chap, he comes. He's a member of our networking, so he's committed to come in 12 months a year. He's paid up front. He turns up, but he's never told anybody what he does. Or do you need anyone to find some deals? What are you looking for? Right? And you suddenly realise that. Well, why are you? Is that part of your social life? Is networking part of your social life?
But this is the difference.
Are you going into it with conviction about getting some business?
And that's the difference. The lady in our group who's with us with Nab An Investor, who's raised £205,000 between the last sprint week and this sprint week, she has a system and she puts a process in place where her goal is every networking event, and she goes to 2 a week. Is that right?
Yeah, well, she does 8 a month at least. 2
networking events a week, and her aim is that for every networking event, she has planned to follow up on 2 people that she's met, whether it's a new person or whether it's an existing person. But that is how she has raised the money, because she has a system. She goes constantly. She's consistent. 2 networkings a week. 2 people per networking event follow-ups, and that is how she's got £205,000 sitting on the table ready for her to deploy on offers that she's got on the table. So guys, if you can take anything from that, process, plan.
Well, yeah, she's followed our, because she's been with us on NAB since over a year now.
When it first started.
Just over a year, May last year.
Yeah,
so she's been with us and she's followed the process and she put those processes into action, and now she's reaping the rewards. So she's got investors lined up now for the deals that she's out there trying to secure.
Yeah.
So that's
she's
phenomenal.
Amazing. Yeah. So amazing. So real success. It was just fabulous. So we have just got a couple of minutes left. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of tips, and also something that's coming up next week as well that you can join. So be clear, clarity, get those proposals built. You want to know your deals inside out. So that's number 1. Number 2 is definitely know your numbers. You want to be able to confidently say what number you need. Both people that I've helped this week with their proposals have undervalued refurb costs or the amount of money that they want to raise.
And people seem to try and raise smaller amounts than they actually need because they think it'll be easier. It's the same conversation. So go all out and say, this is what I need for this deal.
Yeah, 100%. Even if you actually add a buffer in, so you going over, because you're going to have unforeseens, and you can, if you're paying back monthly as well, that money you can actually pay the investor back with their own money.
Just factor the cost of money into your deal.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Keep going out there having conversations, revisit old conversations, have new conversations regularly. Obviously, you know, the conversation about using other people's money, keep talking to people, talk to everybody, people in the supermarket queue, people obviously down the pub, people in the park, you know, tell people what it is that you do.
Yeah, but don't listen to people in the pub because they know better and they'll tell you, oh, you don't want to get in the property market right now.
Tell them what you do.
But you want to do the opposite of what they say.
Yeah. Building your support system as well. So you're in this group, you know, be in the group, be active in the group, let people know what you're doing, your successes. You know, if you need any help, give us a shout out.
Yeah.
You want to be knowing that your numbers work, so you're already buying with profit on day one, so you know how you're getting the money back out of that deal to give back to your investor. And yeah, just keep up to date with the news, learn from others around you, and just be consistent, you know, and be visible and get yourself out there. So that's, you know, stuff you should always be doing. So 7 tips there. And going to leave on Tuesday evening, we are going to be holding our online networking event. So if you want to spend some more time with us, they're a bit of a hoot, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun as well.
You get to know people. We're definitely not two-dimensional. You actually get to build relationships, get to know people better, and have a lot of fun along the way. So that's on Tuesday evening. That's at 7. Keep your eye out for the link because I will be putting some details in this group for that pretty soon.
That's fantastic. So that's a hoot. That's a hoot, and that's the dog barking, saying time's up.
That's our alarm.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for if you're gonna watch the replay, please put in the comments #replay. And yeah, wishing you all a very warm weekend.
Yeah, chill out.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually, have conversations.
No, do the opposite. Yeah.
Have got lots of conversations, and we'll see you next week. See you then.
Have a good one.
Bye.